All right, everybody, welcome to part 8 of chapter 13, Achieving Energy Sustainability, where today we're going to be talking about hydrogen fuel cells. So we'll first talk about how hydrogen fuel cells work. That's part 1, and then part 2 we'll look at if hydrogen is a viable energy alternative. And per the usual, your objective is to be able to explain the advantages and the disadvantages of hydrogen as energy sources. So just in a nutshell, how does a fuel cell work? The basic idea behind fuel cells is taking hydrogen and adding oxygen and being able to produce energy in the form of electricity and water. Okay, so that's the basic premise. And the fuel cell is the device that makes this reaction happen. It's a device that operates like a common battery where electricity is generated by a reaction between two chemicals. Now, we've got lots of oxygen in the atmosphere, so there's plenty of oxygen to make this reaction happen. But we need hydrogen as our fuel. And there's two methods that are currently available to obtain this hydrogen, from methane or a process called electrolysis. Now, we need to, again, to make this happen, we need hydrogen bonded to itself. We don't want hydrogen bonded to any other atoms. Okay, we've got lots of water on Earth, but the hydrogens there are bonded to the oxygens. We just want hydrogen by itself. And the problem is that on Earth anyway, hydrogen is pretty rare by itself. But we need to we need to produce it. And as I said, there's two methods. One is using methane to obtain that hydrogen, and then the other is electrolysis. And electrolysis is applying electric current to water to split the hydrogen and the oxygen. And as of right now, both of these processes are pretty expensive. There's more energy that's required to obtain the hydrogen than is actually produced in the reaction. So we're still working on this technology. And of course, burning methane, methane's a fossil fuel, and we know about those consequences. So again, our disadvantages right now is we have to figure out how do we obtain hydrogen without spending more energy than it would save. That's the question of the decade, so to speak. The other thing that we have to think about is a distribution system. Hydrogen by itself is very explosive. Hydrogen needs to be bonded to another hydrogen or another kind of an atom to be considered stable. Advantages, though, why this is worth looking into is because electric motors, number one, are 3 times as efficient as a combustion engine. There is absolutely no pollution here. The only byproduct other than the electricity is water, which we need. And we do have abundant hydrogen on Earth in water, but again, we need to figure out how to separate it from the oxygen. So in a nutshell, what happens is if we take a look at the top here, and actually not on your screen is 2 dihydrogens coming in here to this number 1. This is figure 13.25. It's on page 366 if you want to just look at the top. But what happens is the hydrogen comes in here, and the hydrogen molecules are split into the protons and electrons in this upper layer. And the protons travel through this membrane. I'm trying to get my mouse here. Here's the mouse. So the protons travel through a membrane down here, whereas the electrons travel this way. Okay, they move in that route, and that up here from the left to the right, and that makes our electric current. And these protons, the protons, like I said, they move across the membrane, and then what happens is we've got oxygen molecules that come in here, and the oxygens are split, and they combine with the protons. And the electrons here, and they make water, and water is the byproduct. And so that's the basic chemistry behind a fuel cell reaction. And this is an application to a fuel cell car here, where we've got our hydrogen storage tanks down here, and our hydrogen comes into the fuel cell stack along with the oxygen. We produce water and the electric current over here, which is used to drive the motor, and also to store the battery back here. And we'll be taking a look in class. I have a small little demo version of a fuel cell car, so we'll take a look at that and see if we can get that to work in the coming days. Checkpoint questions. Number one, how do we obtain hydrogen for use in fuel cells? Number two, how does a fuel cell work? And number three, why is hydrogen useful as an alternative to fossil fuels? So let's go ahead and answer these in Edmodo, preferably, or on a separate piece of paper. And once you're finished with this part 8, you can move on to the last part of this chapter, which is how we can plan for our energy future.